Jeff Discher here, and you're in for a real treat today on There's a Difference. Let's go see what we have today.
What up, man? Can you hear me?
I can. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
I love that answer, man. You're a hard man to track down. I know you're super busy, but so I just want to thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Dude, so what's the word, man? I've probably listened to most of your stuff, most of your content, been watching you for a while. I just want to I know that when they asked me to send over something we're going to talk about, I just want to kind of talk about, first of all, I run a real estate company, so sales is important. Just want to get your lick on a couple of those things and just kind of see what your recommendations are for people that are pivoting in sales and go from there, man. I just want some insight from you, dude. And just off top, dude, the reason I want to interview you so bad is because I've watched, I follow all the guys that Grant Cardone's and all those guys, and I've watched your interviews with them. And I love the fact that you almost make them unease. Like you put them, like it's hilarious watching you talk to them because you're like super cool and chill, and you put them on edge, bro. Like you literally put these names that are typically these big, they're almost like little kids, and you're just sitting there just chilling. And I think you're the only one I've seen do it to most of them consistently, like all these big names, and you just come in there and you're just like this cool cucumber that just, you literally make them uneasy, man. So you had me nervous too. Obviously I'm not doing big things like these guys. I'm like, well, shit, maybe I shouldn't have watched all those interviews.
Hey, it's funny that you say that, because now that you say that, I kind of see what you mean. Maybe that's the problem. I make them uneasy.
You do?
I think if I make them uneasy, it's only because, something going on in their minds. It's no one should be uneasy around me. Matter of fact, sometimes I think to myself, why are they so nervous to talk to me? But at the end of the day, that's something that's happening in their mind.
Yep. And I heard you hit on that before when you were I think you were interviewing Jordan, and you were saying that a lot of times when people get like that, it's because they're not confident in their self and what they're doing. And then when they come around you and they feel your confidence and your know-how, you just slice through all the bullshit, and you actually get to what it's about. And then they're like, uh-oh. And you almost start calling out their shit. And you do it in a serious way. You don't crack a smile. Like I've seen them come at you with some stuff and just be like, yeah, I don't think that's right. I think it should be like this. And usually people will kind of adjust and smile and make a joke, and then they'll go with them. But you didn't do that. So I was like, this dude's legit. This is why he's called the fucking real deal. Excuse my language.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Some people call it abrasive. Some people call it being real. Some people call it no tact. But, the right people call it cool.
Yeah, I do. I think it's cool, man. I'm all about
people with confidence do think it's cool, because guess what? That's kind of how they are as well. Now, I could be a little bit more polished, let's say. But I don't have time for that.
No, don't change, dude. I love it. I think that's why I follow you so hardcore, is because people tell me that I'm a little hardcore. I've been called an asshole a lot, but not in a bad, I always think my intentions are right. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to give people the right shit, and I don't have time to sit there and fluff and be all this bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's why when I saw that, I'm like, because I see everybody else that fluffs and they kind of laugh about it, make it this whole thing, but you don't do that. You cut through. So I just want to say I appreciate that, my man. My question is, from here on out, how are you adapting to the corona, and what is your opinion on the next few months? How do you think it's going to play out, man?
I'm adapting to the corona like this.
Bang! Shit. Ha! Whang! I like that.
So I take it day by day. I think one day I'm a little bit concerned about some things, and the next day I'm like, I'm not so concerned. And I talk to other people. I'm like, well, maybe I should be concerned. At first, if you go back to the history of my social media, and you'll see, and again, crazy enough, I don't see a lot of influencers out there talking about it, but if you go back to their posts, unless they didn't post anything, you'll kind of see what they said. I first thought that it was more serious than they're telling us. Why? Well, because why are they shutting down the whole world over a little death rate? You know, why are they so concerned about 10% of us dying? Because again, that's a lot to me, but dude, the government, I mean, the economy, the world doesn't care that 10% of the people die.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't. Now, people can say that's harsh. That's just the truth, dude. You know, why is cigarette smoke legal? It kills us. Why is DuPont fined when they've been proven to be selling products that are killing us and our children, dumping chemicals and shit that is killing us? They just get a fine. We know that we're killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's fact. There's no conspiracy theory, dude. You know, cigarette smoke causes cancer. Cancer kills more people than fucking COVID. Okay, the flu kills just as many people as COVID. Okay, putting people on ventilators improperly kills people.
Mm-hmm.
Then they say you can count a COVID death if they just look like they've had COVID. And by the way, we'll pay you extra if they're COVID. Mm-hmm. So now what do you think's going to happen? Well, the fucking numbers are going to skyrocket. Then they say there's 1 million confirmed cases and 100,000 deaths, which is inflated as fuck. But guess what? How do you know there's only 1 million cases, asshole? Okay, you know there's way more than 1 million fucking cases. So why are you trying to tell us there's a 10% death rate? There's 1 million confirmed cases with 10% death. Well, first of all, that's inflated. Second of all, that isn't all the people that have it, you moron. That's obvious. How do we know? Because you haven't tested everybody. That's how we know. And if there's 1 million people, then there could be 10 million people. But there's still only 100,000 deaths. So they're counting all of the deaths, even though they're not COVID deaths, but they're not counting all of the people tested. What's that tell you? That tells you that the number is less than they're telling us. At first, I thought it was going to be more than they're telling us. Why? Well, because, dude, they're shutting down the whole world, man. This is serious shit. So I was thinking, oh my God, dude, there's going to be a wave of death going across the country. I told my kids, stay the fuck home. Don't play around. Just go home. Don't shake hands. Don't have friends over. Don't take this lightly. Don't act like it's a joke. Just go home and follow all the freaking things they're telling us to do. And that's what I did. I sent my whole company home. We didn't stop. We just worked from home. Then I went home and I stayed there for a good 30 days. Well, I didn't know anybody with COVID. Everyone who said they had COVID, it was a brother's friend's cousin's barber's daughter. It was never them. And I know a lot of people, none of them with COVID. Only on occasion did someone's brother's daughter's cousin have it. And by the way, survived. I didn't know anyone that died from COVID, except for someone on a social media channel that's madder than hell that you posted something because their direct relative died from COVID, when in reality, it wasn't even COVID they died from. You know, you see what I'm saying?
I saw a lot of that shit too. I saw people, they were saying like people would get in a car accident and then the cause of death and die, and the cause of death would be COVID. People are saying like a
so the next thing you know my man George that they're talking about right now. That dude that got a knee on his fucking neck. Yeah, that's a COVID death right there.
See, that's
Don't blame the cop, man. That was COVID. Did you see him? He was coughing. He was showing signs of COVID.
Yeah, anyone else with a knee on the neck would have been fine, but because he had, it was COVID that made him not be able to breathe and died.
No, literally, dude, they could call that a COVID death based on the rules of COVID.
Yeah,
that's my point, dude. Anyone can die, and if there's signs of COVID, they could call it a COVID death. So now we have to wonder: is there really all those deaths? Why? Why do we have to wonder this shit? You know who should be in trouble? Mainstream media. But when people say mainstream media, that is a faceless individual. Mm-hmm. Right? Who's mainstream media? Oh, well, which channel? Fox. Okay, who owns Fox? That's who should be liable. You know, but it gets into politics, it gets into conspiracy and all this and all that. So your question was, what did I do? Well, at first I thought, this is more serious than it is. Then I realized it doesn't seem to be as serious as it is, and it's really a circus. So now just use common sense. So how have I adapted? And I said, bang, bang, bang. I've adapted day by day because, dude, we don't know what's real and what's not real. So we might be thinking, oh, okay, this isn't real. This is all hyped up, trumped up shit. We go out there and we find out, no, it's fucking real. You know, maybe we went home and that is why the fucking curve flattened. Maybe that is why nothing's happening. It's because we did go home. And what they underestimated was how big of an impact going home would have. Maybe that's the case. But the COVID's still out there. And if you get it, not only are even if you survive, what they're not telling us is perhaps Your lungs are now half capacity. Dude, at the end of the day, I don't want any COVID. So I'm washing my hands. I'm trying to stay away from my face, which is somewhat hard to do. You got a nose itch, dude? You know, what, you going to do this all day? No, I fucking go like this. Okay? I'll do this without even thinking about it. If I'm going to die because I fucking rubbed my eye, well then, dude, let me die. Okay? I'm going to live confidently and I'm going to live intelligently, which means wash your hands. Stay away from big crowds. I'm not going in big crowds right now, even though I see people out in the big crowds. Good for you. If you're that unafraid of it, good for you. But I'm always cautious.
Yep.
Hey, dude, you don't want a haircut, stay out the barbershop. Okay?
I understand.
You don't want your ass kicked, stay out of bad neighborhoods. Okay? At the end of the day, just be cautious. That's me. So that's how I'm adapting. I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. I'm doing my best to keep my eye on the ball. And the ball is not all this conspiracy shit. The ball is Lightspeed growing or retracting or contracting?
Did you feel that was there like a separation with your employees that like half of them like wanted to work and half of them were on one side and half of the other side? Do you see any type of separation like that?
Well, again, if they don't want to work, then they go away. When you say work, you mean work at the office? Because everybody's going to work whether they're home or here.
Okay, so even if you give them the option to go home, I just felt like in my office, I only have 10 employees or 10 agents, but half of them were like, no, we're still going to come to our office with our mask. We're still going to keep our separation. Like you said, follow guidelines. And the other half were like, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. They're basically taking a vacation, you know? So I just wondered if you had.
But are they working from home? Because again, dude, here's what I learned about this whole incident. I don't need this big ass office. Mm-hmm. Okay, like literally, we are open again, but I said, anyone that wants to work from home, email me. I approved every single person that wants to work from home. Obviously, the receptionist who greets people, she can't work from home, but she did during the big pandemic. I let her answer phones from home. We have a phone system that allowed that. But she's not just a phone answerer. She's a receptionist. She greets people coming into the lobby. So someone has to be there, okay? My studios, because we have 3 state-of-the-art studios where people can come film courseware, marketing stuff. Obviously, somebody has to be there to operate the cameras and the teleprompters. So I can operate in this office, which is 30,000 square feet, overlooking the city of Las Vegas, stacked stone, marble, glass. It's badass. I can operate this with 4 people. Mm-hmm. Okay, 30,000 square feet, 4 people. You think we're social distancing good enough?
Yeah.
So the whole point is look, all I learned is I don't need an office. Everyone's still working. They may just be working from their home, which quite frankly, dude, their own staplers, their own freaking pens, their own freaking water, their own freaking coffee cups and coffee and creamer. Like, dude, we could stay this way for all I care. And if they like it better, good for them.
Do you think you're getting the same results from them?
Yeah, I think in some cases, I'm getting better results.
Okay.
Less distractions.
Yeah. It's funny you said about that, like people don't need office. I'm obviously in real estate, but residential side, but I've talked to a couple commercial brokers and they're saying that, and people that own businesses like you or that are in office space, and they're like, man, like they said the same thing, that it's showing that I don't need all this space, this overhead. I can put the money back into my business. And talking to commercial brokers, they're saying, yeah, we're already seeing people starting to call and ask about breaking their leases and doing this and doing that. It's like for 1 month of their rent, they could literally go buy 50-inch TVs for every one of their employees with a brand new laptop and have them work from home and just do these Zoom calls all day and save $30,000 a month on a space. I know.
Dude, listen, if you own strip malls and commercial buildings, I'd be concerned. Just myself. Why? Well, because again, people still need a place to live. So if you got commercial, residential, multifamily, I think people still gonna pay rent. You know, a lot of them didn't because it was okay not to, but after that's been lifted, you know, there's going to be some issues with real estate, in my opinion, no matter what. However, every realtor I know is saying nothing's changed. They're still kicking ass.
It is.
But they're working remotely. They're doing virtual tours, you know, whatever. Like, again, dude, I don't need to shake a fucking realtor's hand. I don't need to smell their breath We're not dogs. I'm not looking to sniff them. Okay. If you can find me the house I'm looking for, okay, and negotiate and everything, and you can do it from a fucking phone, I don't really care to ever meet you. Like, again, I don't really care. Like if I'm looking for a new car, I don't need to sniff the dude. Like if some person can find me the car I'm looking for, cool. So to me, I believe commercial real estate, office space is going to shrink.
No, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. I'm in downtown San Diego, so I'm like watching to see what's happening.
Yeah, but see, I don't know where you are right now. You could be at your house.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I could. I could be doing it from my house.
So what does it matter that you have a office? Some of us, believe it or not, have offices because of ego too. Same reason we have Ferraris and everything else.
Yeah.
It's just egos. Or again, personally, reward. Most people don't focus on reward enough. Too many people are bought into that whole delayed gratification thing. A lot of people talk about delayed gratification. People succeed that can delay gratification. True. But, how'd you like to delay gratification and then die?
Yeah, no, I get it. I feel like sometimes the biggest stuff, like even through life, open this office. It's funny you say ego. I mean, I know there's a part of me that, I come from nothing. So like, there's a part of me that wanted to open this gorgeous, cool office and do all these things. And I think there's also a level of accountability that I can hold my agents to when they're in front of me and I'm there and they sense me and I can actually, there's no getting up and taking the dog for a walk or doing that. I can kind of hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, like, you're obviously the sale, you run the online, you do the light speed. I kind of looked into that. I've heard you talk a lot about that. Let me ask you this, man. What do you look for in salespeople?
Salespeople, I really look for people that are empathetic, right? And have a willingness to help others. That's it. I can teach the rest.
How do you figure that out in the beginning? Like, because everyone puts on their best face and says everything. Okay, so you just sit down and have conversations with them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at resumes, dude. Resumes are just piece of paper with a bunch of lies on it.
Do you ever have people that say they're all hyped up and you obviously are motivating, you want them, they come in, they get all hyped because they probably see your office, they meet you, they get to work with you. Do you ever see that? They come in all gung-ho and then within a month or two, you see that start to go away, they start complaining or doing these other things?
I don't know. Usually it's the opposite. They get more excited the more they work with me, the more they see the opportunity, the more I train them. That's when they get excited because they start to realize, man, the whole world is wide open for the taking. You just have to know what to say and who to say it to.
And you personally train your people?
Yeah, when I can, absolutely.
Is there a training process they go through when they join your company?
I'm like the landscaper with the terrible backyard because he's too busy handling everybody else's yard. So no, I mean, I am a lot better than I used to be, but we're slowly developing it out for ourselves. Not only as a case study, but I just always chase improvement. So you'll never hear me say, "Oh, we're the greatest at that," because I don't think there's such a thing. But yes, if you start Lightspeed, you get issued a Lightspeed password, and that password will pop up and give you the basics. I call it basically bringing someone up to speed. Matter of fact, if you go to uptospeed.com, that's a temporary Lightspeed landing page because I own it. But bringing people up to speed, I let Lightspeed do it. That way, if I see you in the hallway, I don't have to answer a bunch of stupid ass questions and, increase the likelihood that you're not going to make it. Because guess what? New employees walking around asking stupid questions, that's not good for anybody, is it?
No, that's what I was asking how that plays out after you interview and bring them on. What do you think separates you guys? Like, you're obviously like, there's something that obviously people are drawn to you. Your energy, you're real. You kind of have this, to be honest, it's like this I don't give a shit attitude, but in a good way, meaning that you're only looking for shit that matters and you're not handling or fucking with the fluff. What do you think? What do you think that difference is, man? What do you think? How do you think you've cultivated that? I know you dropped out of high school. I know you sold cars. You did all that sales stuff. You didn't all those things kind of mold you? Obviously, they did today.
I don't think that molded me. I think what molded me was learning and seeking information and having an open mind and being willing to change, right? So like I've changed. I used to not be this way. So I'm open to change, and I know that change is really, you know, what people should be looking for, and that's usually what most people are afraid of. But my willingness to change is I think what's responsible. So again, like the reason I keep it real is because I learned all the rest is just nonsense, and it's false, and it's temporary. And I'm not looking for temporary success and happiness and long-term, short-term gain. I'm looking for long-term, right? So if you already know, dude, you're not going to get anything but short-term gain by acting that way, why would you continue to act that way? Mm-hmm. So learning is what's kind of changed me, not sales. Because again, I mean, there's a lot of salespeople that are really good at sales, but they're not very wise. They don't understand the lessons of life. That's what my new book coming out called The Hard Way, which is lessons I've learned the hard way, so you don't have to. These are what I'm talking about. It's not a sales book, even though I have a sales book coming. It's a life lessons book. It's like wake up, right? It's a wake up book. Somebody 18 years old reads it, they're going to have a much faster and easier chance to succeed than someone that hasn't read it. Definitely accelerate the journey. Why? Because I'm 51 and I've learned a lot of crap, and I put it in the book to where if I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self, it's all of the things I would tell my 18-year-old self. And you know, if another 50-year-old read the book, they're not going to go, oh yeah, some of them might. No one will argue the book. Everyone will love the book, I'm sure, because it tells stories in my fashion. But nobody can argue the lessons that are in there. Nobody. They're universal laws. Why? Well, because, dude, they're just fact. It's like you can't argue them. Yeah. That's the good part.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say if you were 18 again to yourself, real quick? What would you say? What's one thing that you would say if you could go back to 18-year-old you and give them one piece of advice? What would it be?
Learn more, like read more books.
That's one of my lessons. Seek knowledge faster.
Faster,
right?
As much as
now,
you can. Yeah.
Another one is you got to unlearn things. Like I was taught growing up, there are no shortcuts, Brad. Dude, there's a ton of shortcuts. Yeah. Seeking knowledge is one of them. Seeking a mentor, getting someone that already knows how to do what you want to do. That is a shortcut. Oh no, if it's easy, it's not worth it. Who told you that nonsense? It's actually the opposite. The harder you work, the less you make usually. Yeah. Go look at the hardest workers. Well, now someone's going to be like, well, how do you define hard? Exactly. How do you define hard work? I define it by blisters. I define it by soreness.
Yep.
Scrapes, bumps, and bruises. Digging a ditch is hard work. Swinging an axe is hard work. Fighting forest fires is hard work, right? That's hard work. Okay, go look at everybody doing that hard work. Doing the hard work. Not owning the company that does the hard work. Doing the hard work. They're all average and broke. Not as people, as income. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so why do we say that hard work is what it takes to be successful? No, sir. Hard work will keep you broke. We just have to unlearn that hard work, or redefine what does it mean, hard work. In my opinion, it means back-breaking, blister-causing work. I work sometimes 14 hours in a day. Someone says, oh man, you were working hard. I'm not working hard. This is like right now I'm working. Is this hard? I don't have any blisters, dude. My hands feel like lotion. Yeah. Matter of fact, they feel like sweet almond oil has been applied repeatedly for years.
Nice.
Yeah. There's no calluses. That's also why I got a little love handle right here, because there's no calluses.
Yeah. And so there's obviously a direct correlation between learning. Obviously, people that typically learn the most, read the most, invest themselves the most, typically work less but make more. Yep. And people that are on the roofs, taking new roofs off in the blistering sun and doing all these, they're typically people that, I mean, it's crazy because I didn't get a lot of schooling. Obviously, you didn't, formal, but like those are the people that typically just stopped learning and just stopped, got the jobs, cut off, went home, watched the shows, and stopped working.
Their minds were closed. They bought into whatever they believe, and what they believe is you better work hard if you want to win. Well, you're not going to win by working hard. Working smart, maybe, not hard. Now, by the way, it doesn't mean that hard work is not good. See, people have to understand hard work is great, but it's not necessary. Like, in other words, the hardest working people, by my definition, are usually the brokest people. They have no money. They're making shit income. Now, the person that hired those people to do the hard work, they're making all this money. They're not the ones doing the work. They're the ones watching the workers do the work. That's not hard work. Well, I watch people 18 hours a day. You don't know how hard I worked to get in this position. Dude, whatever you want to call it, I'll bet you if I retrace the step, they worked long. They didn't work hard. But again, what's your definition of working hard? So it's just really a perspective, and my perspective has been shifted to a point where, I think being homeless on the beach is cool. But it boils down to one thing. I call it being real. Real. You want to be real. You want to get real. Okay, because if you ask me, you want to be a real man. You want to be a real business person. You want to be a real woman. You want to be real. The acronym, and I've got a bunch of them for real. Really educated and loyal. Really educated and loyal. Loyal to who? Loyal to yourself, number one. Most people are not. And then loyal to others. To yourself and others. You need to be loyal to help people. You need to be loyal to yourself, number one. Most people are not loyal to themselves first. They're loyal to everybody else first. And that's their problem. Because what are we taught when we're loyal to ourselves first? What do we call that in society?
Selfish.
Yeah, we're selfish. That's not good. Who says it's not good? Okay, that's what we have to unlearn. You got to be loyal to yourself first. Why? Everybody else is temporary. The only person not leaving you is you, bro.
Well, that analogy too about flying, they say, who they tell the
So, dude.
I was gonna say, they say on the plane, they say when you're going down, put your mask on first. If you don't save yourself, you can't save anybody else. So it's like an analogy that kind of goes with that. I want to ask you, I heard you say, you said that you haven't always been like this. You said you haven't always been like this and that you've changed over time. And I know, like, I always kind of had that natural ability in sales, whatever I was doing. I always did fairly well, but didn't necessarily control myself. I was into partying and doing all that. And then about 4.5 years ago, I kind of had this aha, and I was like, all right, I want to stop with all that and get serious. And even I've always been reading, but I even went harder on my reading, stopped going out, rarely drank, did all these changes to where I kind of become obsessed with my company and my business and all that. Is there a time that you felt ever that you were, I don't want to say half-assing, but like you were kind of going along doing your thing, and you had that aha change moment when it made you to this, when it took you to that next level?
Yes, except for the next level part. The only way to get to the next level is to maximize the level you're on.
Okay.
Like, think about, this is the level, let's pretend, and you're here. How do I get here? Well, you got to maximize the level you're on, and where do you find yourself? The bottom of the next level. And then if you maximize that level, you'll find yourself at the bottom of the next level. So when people say, how do you get to the next level? The only way to get to the next level is to maximize the level you're on. And most people don't do that. They're looking to just jump up there. It's like, dude, have you maximized the level you're on? No. Okay, well, quit worrying about the next level. Worry about the level you're on, maximize it, and you'll be on the next level. So that's how you get to the next level. So other than, but I know what you meant by that. And the answer is, yeah. I mean, rephrase the question without the next level.
Okay.
Just to get to the next level, you got to maximize the level you're on.
I got you. I just, like I said, I knew there was a time when it was kind of weird because I kind of, my light went off. Hold on, let me turn this light on real quick, man. Like with me, like I said, I knew that I had this weird, felt like I was cool, but nothing. I had this weird, like, confused time, and I took off to Europe for a month and then came back and had this aha and literally doubled my business, hired people, and I just had this, I kind of stepped back almost out of myself and saw myself like, what are you doing, dude? You're partying all the time. You're overweight. Like, I wasn't crazy overweight, but you're not taking care of yourself, and everyone was telling me you could be doing so much better. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I had that aha, kind of that weird stale moment, took off to Europe for a month with the backpack, came back. And I was like, I just started rethinking everything and really almost like standing outside myself, seeing that. And I can define the moment in 2016 when I had that change and everything changed. I got in the best shape of my life. My business went through the roof. My relationships enriched, like all that happened. Was there like a moment like that with you? Or was it just a constant kind of change?
Well, there have been moments, I just call them moments of inspiration, but they don't, like, there wasn't one, there's been several. You start to get comfortable, you start to get satisfied, and then you have another one, hopefully. So it's an ongoing thing for me. But the first time was when I kind of watched somebody change financially because of the training that I gave them. And that's what made me want to start a training company and kind of quit being an employee. And so then I started a training company because of that. Right. So that's when I started worrying about helping others rather than myself. That was the first kind of shift. And then I didn't even realize that like, people teach you that. Zig Ziglar says, the best way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. And I'm like, I didn't even know that, but that is what happened. I went from worrying about myself to worrying about helping other people. Boom, went to the next level. So at the end of the day, and then, now I'm looking around like, dude, how come this isn't happening? And then I had another shift. So it's a constant thing, but absolutely. Hopefully you don't just have one, you have several. And whenever you find yourself feeling content, I would say, is when you should look to get uncomfortable and break through that. And unless you're satisfied and happy, because I think happiness is a choice. Mm-hmm. So if you are happy, which everyone can be just by choosing to be, well, then frickin', do your thing. Like, what else is there?
Yeah.
Like, literally, dude, if I'm happy laying on a hammock, smoking weed, eating papaya,
you're good.
Sounds cool for a weekend, but dude, I'm not going to, that isn't all that it takes. I need to watch, there's other things that make me happy. Okay. So I think part of happiness is reaching potential and growth. And with that comes challenges. And so happiness is subjective, but it's a choice, right? You could be happy living in a shithole, driving a shitty car, making minimum wage. Or you can be happy living in a mansion. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the difference? How can they both be happy if happiness is something? Happiness is a choice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm already happy. Now I'm trying to achieve certain goals and things to where when I leave here, there's a legacy left behind.
Legacy, yeah. The crazy thing you just said, man, is I think that's one of my main things. And Zig Ziglar said it, when it's not about you anymore, it's about other people. And I remember him saying that, and I didn't understand it either, but I don't think everyone could just start like that. I don't know if there's people go through it, but I just know myself. I was all about, pay my bills, take care of myself, do my thing. I don't gotta worry about anybody. And once I started, there was a guy on my team that he chased me down, man, for months. And he was my first team guy that joined my team. And he just chased me down. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's livelihood. But the minute I did, and I went all in, and I made the choice to go all in on somebody else and give him everything I knew and make sure his success, and like you said, see him get those checks, and then his lifestyle change, and then also his family and his kids are happy and they love me. That was a change for me, man. And it's hard to tell people that, because I don't think if you're not ready for it, it's like, dude, shut up. Like, I don't need to do all. But I feel like there was a level for me, a stage for me, like you're saying, when all of a sudden I was like, you know what, fine, I'm going to do it. But if I do it, I'm going to go all in. It's almost like getting married. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm going to do this and commit, I'm going to do it. And I went all in on my guy. And he, rookie of the year, broke records, did all these things. And I was just there by his side, rooting him on. And that, for me, gives me goosebumps, man. Just that feeling for me of seeing him succeed. And then all of a sudden it was like, when we would get awards and stuff, I let him go up and get them. And I let my team go up and get them, because And it's hard to tell people that, man, especially where I'm from, because I'm from the ghetto and shit. Like people are like, yeah, whatever, bro, I gotta make my own money and all this dumb shit. But if you can get to that level, and that's what's crazy. It took me 15 years of selling real estate and doing all those other things to get to the point where actually I made it about other people. And once I made it about other people, that's, I feel like, I say level, but that's what kind of made me come up and stop thinking about myself. So then when I was, buddies were going out to drink or something or do something when they would go out to Vegas and party, which would be like, yeah, drop everything and go. I was like, I got to think about these other people too. Because if I take off, like it started becoming more about other people. And that's why I grew my team. And I'm going to be training agents how to do like 6 figures in 6 months. That's a book I'm writing and seminars I'm going to be training, because I've done multiple real estate agents. And it's less than like 5% of the realtors are making 6 figures. So I've been able to take multiple agents from scratch up to that. And that's my thing now. I still sell homes here and there and work with particular clients. But like you said, man, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because everyone that I've talked to that are in high levels, they all say the same thing. When I made it about other people and as opposed to me, there was a shift. I won't say level up, I'll say a shift. And that's cool to hear you say that as well. All right, I don't want to keep going too much longer. I know you have a book. When does your book drop? I saw there's pre-orders on your website.
Yes, whenever I finish it.
You're in the same. Do you go through? Let me ask you real quick on books, because I'm writing mine right now too. Do you feel like you'll sit down and write like a page or two and be all inspired, and then you'll go off and do something else and won't get back to it for a while? Same shit I'm doing, dude. And I'll get into it and start writing good stuff. I'm like, oh, this is good.
Hey, look, I said the book's coming, which is a fact. You're going to like it, which is a fact. If you want to pre-order it, here it is. If you want to wait for it, wait for it. But right now it's a pre-order. Now to incentivize the pre-order, I said, I'm going to make them limited edition, signed limited edition versions. If that doesn't mean anything, wait till it's out. Wait till you get some reviews. However, I even sweetened the pot a little bit more. I said, I'm also going to end up buying one of the books back for $100,000.
Damn.
Why? Well, because I can afford to, number one. Number two, because that will help somebody. Number three, because that should cause a shitload of pre-orders. Hopefully even more than $100,000 worth. Hasn't happened so far. But however, I don't need any to sell to pick one. So if only 5 people pre-ordered, there's been way more than that, I'm going to pick one and give them $100,000 or offer them $100,000 for the book, which means buy the book in pre-order status and wait for it. When's it coming? Soon as possible. When's that? Whenever I finish. That's just the truth. Number two, I could give you $100,000 for it. Number three, it'll make you so much money, the lessons within that book. Now, if you buy the book and you knew every lesson in there, well then, dude, you wasted $24. Boo-hoo.
Yeah. Well,
that's the worst that can happen. What's likely to happen? There are several things in there I am sure people need to hear. Definitely younger people. I had someone the other day say, dude, I get more value from following you on social media, and I'm 55 years old. You're teaching me shit at 55 years old I've never heard before. Well, I think what they really mean is I put it in a way that they've never figured. In other words, I'm resonating with people because I'm simplifying or putting it in a way that really makes sense to them. That's all I'm doing. Because again, I think when we're born and we've lived 50 years on this life, you look back and you learn some things. It's just sometimes we don't know how to convey it, or like most people, we don't. Like, I love it when people get on my social media and they talk about my posts, and then I go look at their profile and they don't have any posts. It's like, dude, you should be worried about making your own, like sharing your own knowledge than critiquing mine. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to critique my post and you haven't made any? Like, dude, your book, I can't wait for my book to come out because obviously I like when people give me positive feedback, but I can't wait for someone to be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to go, well, let me read your book.
Yeah.
See how, oh, you don't have the book. Okay, well then shut the fuck up.
Seriously.
You're going to critique my book and you don't even have a book. So it's like one time I did this movie. I used to want to be an actor. So I did this movie and somebody was critiquing the way I played the role, and I said, that's interesting. Let me see your movie real quick. So let me see what you're talking about. Oh, I don't have a movie. Oh, well then shut the fuck up.
Seriously. No, and it's usually the ones that don't have shit that are saying the most shit. That's the problem.
Well, dude, the one thing that my mom told me when I was growing up is if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. That's called polite. Now, I don't operate that way. I think if I think you should know something, I'll tell you. But I wouldn't tell you just to be mean. Like, hey, dude, you're an idiot, You shouldn't be saying this. You're not going to hear that from me. Why? Dude, you go look for Brad Lee talking shit on people's posts. You won't find it.
Mm-hmm.
You won't find it. Why am I not talking shit? There's enough to talk shit about. Because talking shit, dude, doesn't help anybody. Okay? I'm here to help people be better off than I found them. I'm a contributor. I'm a creator. I'm a collaborator. I'm not like competition to me. Competition is me trying to take what's yours or compete for what's there. See the difference? Mm-hmm. If me and you are competing for what's there, we're not contributing and we're not creating. We're taking from one another. Competition's fun. I like competition. Don't get me wrong. And I'm competitive. Don't get me wrong. If there's a first place trophy and I want that son of a bitch, I'm competing. But when it comes to life and business, I believe in creation, create more, right? There's abundance for everybody. I don't need to take your business. There's enough business for everybody if we get in the creation mindset rather than the competition mindset.
No, I like that, dude. That's legit. All right, brother, before we go, my show is called There's a Difference. If you had to say there's one thing that makes you different, you're obviously a monster. You're crushing. What do you think the difference is with you versus all the other salespeople and everyone else?
Perspective. I understand how lucky I am. Okay, if you go to my Twitter account, it says lucky as hell and willing to roll the dice. I think my perspective is just different than most people. Like, again, someone said, dude, what did it feel like to hit rock bottom on one of the interviews I was on? And I said, well, I've never really hit rock bottom. And they're like, well, weren't you homeless on the beach or homeless in California? And I'm like, yeah, I was homeless in California once. And they said, that's not rock bottom for you? I'm like, well, no. I mean, number one, it was on the beach. Like, I literally slept on the beach. And like, how can sleeping on the beach be a bad thing? Well, you didn't have a home, but I was on the beach. Yeah, number one. Number two, it was my choice. It's not like I couldn't hitchhike 1,000 miles and sleep at my sister's house. I didn't want to give up. I didn't have any money. I had to sleep somewhere. So I chose the beach, man. I was sleeping on the beach by choice. You can call it homeless. I called it broke. Okay. I've been broke before. I'm not afraid of being broke again. At the end of the day, bro, I think my perspective is what makes me different than most. I wake up every day thankful that I get another day. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if I just said I'll give you $10 million, bro, would you feel any different?
Yeah.
10 million cash. What would you feel? Describe the feeling you'd get.
Freedom, maybe, or just you'd be happy. I mean, just be ecstatic. You'd be happy. You feel freedom. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to worry about anybody else. Anybody's just anything. You just fuck everybody. I don't need anybody.
Relief.
Yeah, relief.
So, do you feel that way every morning you wake up?
Most of them, but I'm not going to lie and say every morning.
Okay, so think about this. If I said I'll give you 10 million, but you can't wake up tomorrow, which would you pick? Waking up tomorrow or 10 million?
Waking up tomorrow.
So you already know waking up's worth more than $10 million. So why don't you feel that way every single morning? It's worth more than $10 million. It's worth more just to open your eyes in the morning and realize, oh shit, I get another day. That's worth more than $10 million, admittedly, but yet everybody takes it for granted. They wake up, oh, boo-hoo, I got to go to work. Boo-hoo, this is happening and that's happening. But if they could train their brain to realize every day they wake up is a freaking unbelievable thing, and feel the way you described as if you got 10 million. It is, opportunities are everywhere. Like, oh my God, this is a beautiful life. Opportunities are everywhere. Guess what happens? Opportunities are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel good. So I think that's what makes me quote unquote different. If more people could just understand how lucky we are to be alive, just to be alive. Okay. Even if you, like, let's say you don't have any arms or legs. Dude, are you alive? Now someone says, well, I wouldn't want to be alive like that. Well, again, that's a personal, that's a perspective of your own. My perspective is I'm happy to be alive and be me. Like, dude, I could have been you. I'm happier than shit that I ended up being me. Now, who would I rather be? Fuck, I'd rather be Brad fucking Pitt or something. Like, dude, I'd rather be freaking a lot of people. But guess what? Look, I'm happy I'm me. Okay? I'm happy I'm me. I'm happy I'm alive. I'm happy I got the right mindset. I'm happy to have health. I'm happy to have family. And at the end of the day, it's perspective. It's just perspective. You know, I was pissed off that I couldn't afford shoes till I met a man with no feet.
That's really good. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your time. If people want to find you, I can let them know, but what's the best way to find you if they want to get some of your good info?
Best way to find me is just Google.
Google. I know
Google Brad Lee, LEA, and you'll find me. But normally, if you want to, like, you know, see what I'm saying and what I'm up to, Instagram, 100%.
Word. And that's just
I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and all this other crap, but every day I'm checking and talking to people on Instagram mostly. Okay. Yeah, it's at the real Brad Lee, and Lee is LEA.
Yep.
Some people say, is that Leah? I say, I don't know. Only if you drink Tia.
You're full of them. All right, brother. Well, hey, I'll let you get going back to business. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time to out of your day to meet with me and have this conversation. I also obviously wish you the best day possible, and keep doing your thing. I'll keep following.
Appreciate you, man. Likewise. Have a good day. See you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.